What's up everybody, welcome back to Surreal Entertainment. It's your boy Robbie here with another video. So today we're going to teach you how to make a subwoofer box for your car. Now what we're doing is we're installing a subwoofer box into the NA car, which I've showed you in previous videos. It's the track / daily car, and we want to keep the bass bumping pretty well in there as well, just as always has been in that car. We used to rock two kickers, actually, two 10-inch kickers, compars in the back in a ported box, and they sounded amazing. But we need our trunk space back, and we need to get all that weight from the back off of the car, because of course we're using it for track purposes as well. So we want to get as much of the weight out of the car as possible. So what we're doing is we're making a fiberglass box on the right side of the back bumper. So that's not the side where your actual jack is, it's the opposite side. And the reason being is that side has more space, it has more of a hole into the trunk, so actually gives it more space for the woofer and stuff like that. So let me show you guys how the trunk looks on that car. Alright boys, so this is the trunk, which I used to have a double box here with two 10s, and since we're not going to be doing that no more because it's taking the whole trunk space pretty much, we're going to be doing a single box, non-ported. It's going to be a sealed box, and it's going to hold a 10-inch woofer right here. Now the reason why I'm not doing it in the same size as the speed is because there's not enough space here. Even if you take this off, which I'll show you guys what's up, it kind of hits a dead end here. It can go deeper, if you guys can see in there, it could go deeper, but I would have to cut out all this metal framing here in order to go deeper, and I'm not trying to do that. So for me, this is not enough space. On this side, on the other hand, this is a perfect hole. This is pretty wide. It's about, I don't know, see, this is about 2 inches here. This is a 2-inch tape pretty much, 2, 4, 6, 8, I don't know, maybe about 10 to 12 inches from here all the way in, which is where the woofer is going to sit, and then the box is actually going to go all the way back to about there. So the box is going to be pretty big in square footage wise, because for that woofer you are required to have pretty good square footage, and I think it'll be fine since it's going to go all the way up to the roof here of the car, and it's going to go all the way down and inward. Now the actual subwoofer is going to sit right here, and then everything else is just going to be built to the back. I'll show you guys how that's done. This is a line there that I want the subwoofer to stick out to, and it's going to be sticking out about 1 inch or 2, maybe like, I'll say 3-4 inches from the actual wall of the car. So all of that is free trunk space. You can do whatever you want with it. So that's why we're doing this. I'll show you guys the first steps of doing this build. This is the materials that you're going to need to build your box. First things first, the main ingredient of all this is tape. You can also use foil to thicken up the layers. I'll show you guys where this is used after, when we start doing the actual process. You're going to need some fiberglass cloth, fiberglass actual mat. You're going to need masks. You're going to need your fiberglass resin. You can get extra hardener if you need to. They come with 2 for this big one. This was about $37 at Walmart. You're going to need a bunch of brushes from Walmart as well, the cheapest kind ever, because they're going to get ruined. So just buy the cheapest, 69, 70 cents, whatever they are. These are like 59 cents from Walmart. Bought a bunch of those. You're going to need a ring. Not this one. I just bought this so I can show you guys what you kind of need, but just buy it on eBay or make your own Mdf rings. You're going to need to, depending on the woofer that you're putting in your car, buy a ring based on that so you can put your woofer into. I bought an extra hardener just in case I need it. I bought the liquid one, not the cream one. That's it. That's pretty much it. So these are the materials that you're going to need to start building your box. You're probably going to need a couple of wood sticks as well, so you can attach your ring to your box. And then also one thing that I don't have here is cloth or something like that. I don't know what it's called. That's stretchy stuff. I forgot what it's called exactly. It's kind of like lost in my mind right now. It's one of those really stretchy type of cloth. Kind of like they use it for like baby blankets, one of those. So that's the materials you're going to need to begin this project, and I'll show you guys the first step of this. Alright boys, just real quick so I can show you guys where the woofer is going to sit. It's going to sit right here, just like that, about sticking out this much.
So this is where the woofer is going to stand. It fits perfectly. There's enough space in the back as well for air to travel as well. Okay, so let's get started with the first step. First step, grab your tape, and what you're going to do is start taping off your whole car. First, you mark a line, a guideline of where you want it to stop, and then just tape off this whole area. Now I'm gonna put you guys on a time lapse. I'm not gonna do this on video because it's gonna take forever. So I'm gonna go ahead and tape off all of this with tape, and then you're gonna do it again. Alright boys, there you have it. I pretty much masked everything as much as I wanted. I made a wall there. I don't know if you guys saw. Let me see if I can show you guys. See, there's a wall there with cardboard that gives a little bit extra space on the back of the box. Reason being is that's where my actual amp is going to sit. I'm not going to transfer it over under the seat or anything like that. It's going to stay there. It's going to attach to the actual box. It'll be nice and clean and it will be tucked. And I'll also close that off with fiberglass this way, so it's gonna be a perfectly enclosed, like you won't even see it from the back when you open the trunk. So there you have it. Everything is masked off perfectly. I used about a whole roll of tape. Even the top is done as well. I'm gonna do a little bit better job of taping the top and all the corners. I'm gonna do like a little bit more tape before I start fiberglassing. But essentially this is what you need. You need to do that, and then also after that, make sure you cover your whole trunk with nylon or some kind of a protectant, because fiberglass, if it gets on your carpeting or anywhere on your car, that's it. It's there for life and you won't be able to take it off. So always when you mess with resin or anything like that, just make sure you insulate your car perfectly. Also try to insulate the cabin completely from your trunk, so you don't get the smell from fiberglass, because even though you're taping everything off and nothing's going to get on there, fiberglass smell is going to stay there for about a week and a half in your car. So just try to insulate the trunk completely from the cabin of the car. I'm going to go ahead and just finish up masking this little area here so it's nicely, and then I'll probably start mixing up some fiberglass resin and cutting up some matte strips. See you guys in a little bit. Alright boys, so time to start mixing my chemicals here. Make sure of course you have a really nice clean area you can work with, and make sure you have all this stuff here laid out just as I have it as well. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna use what is it called? Fiberglass cloth first to do the first layer of the mold in the trunk. And we're going to start mixing up my chemicals. The way I'm going to mix my chemicals is a little bit different than whatever the can says. The reason being is I want to get a little bit more working time when I mix my mixture, because this stuff dries really quick, within 8 to 12 minutes, as they state on the can as well. So it's very short amount of time so you can apply. So what I'm going to do is add a little bit less hardener than what it says on here, so that way I have a little bit longer time, because the more hardener you put, the faster this thing dries, the less time you have to work with. So what I'm going to do here, it says, what does it say, 10 drops per every ounce. Now this here is a 9-ounce cup. I'm going to mix up about 9 ounces at a time. That should be enough and plenty for about the amount of time that I'm going to be working with this stuff. So make sure you always have pre-cut cloth. Now I always start with cloth. You can start with matte if you want to, whichever you want to do. I suggest you start with cloth because it's more flexible. You can work with it much easier into the car. That way, you know, you're not struggling and stuff trying to apply this stuff, because this stuff is messy once you start cutting it up. The matte I'm talking about. So what I'm going to do is a 9-ounce cup, and then I'm supposed to put 90 drops of this hardener. Well, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to actually do 80 drops. So about, not 80, maybe 80, 85. And then that way it gives me a little bit extra time to work with that material. That way it dries much slower. Make sure you have, like I said, 1,000,000 brushes. Buy the cheapest kind, because this stuff, they're going to get ruined. And then make sure you get yourself a respirator or any of these masks. I suggest the 3M brand. It's a really good mask. So use that stuff. Don't mess up your lungs. This is chemicals you're messing with. You don't want to get that in your lungs or anywhere in your car, so make sure your car is nicely insulated, and make sure your lungs and yourself stay healthy after you're done with this job. That said, I'm gonna go ahead and start mixing this. I'm gonna get this back in the back of the car, put you guys on a time lapse, and show you guys how to apply your first layer or fiberglass so you can get the initial mold of the car. Alright, see you guys in a little bit. So this is the back of the car now. Everything is taped off perfectly. I kind of drew a rough draft line of where exactly I would love to end my fiberglassing, because that's pretty much the width of the box is going to be. So make sure you draw yourself a line like that so you know where to stop fiberglassing, so you don't over fiberglass for no reason. And don't forget to do your rooftop here as well. That all have to be covered in fiberglass and covered in tape so you don't ruin your car. As you guys can see, I have pretty good masking here, so even if fiberglass gets here, it's not gonna get on my car. So good to go there. I'm about to start matting everything out. One more thing to note just before I start doing this: I live in Vegas and it's really hot outside, and I'm not doing this in my garage because it's gonna start stinking. So I'm doing this outside and it's like 100 degrees. You should not be doing this in 100 degrees. You're gonna get way less time of working material with the fiberglass because it's so hot and it's gonna start drying really quick. So I suggest you do it at nighttime, or just do it in a cooler temperature somewhere around 70-80 degrees. That way the fiberglass doesn't dry very quickly. So I'm gonna start off with the 9-ounce cup. If it starts drying really damn fast, then I would probably just mix myself very small batches of fiberglass at a time, which will probably take longer, but this is not about being fast, it's about being quality. So I'm gonna start laying out the fiberglass now. Alright guys, so there you have a little bit. I've laid whatever you guys see right there. That's all covered in matte. Yeah, it's really hot outside, so this is drying up very quickly, way faster than I would like to. I mixed up half a cup of this time, and it was too much, so I'm mixing quarter cups from now on. That way we are pretty good on the material and it doesn't start getting gunky and stuff. So we're not wasting material basically. But yeah, about a quarter of the way here, already matted. And we're gonna, before you start pulling anything off of your car, you make sure you get about 2 or 3 layers of coverage. That way it's thick enough layers so you can pull off the mold from your car. The reason why we taped it is so none of that fiberglass gets stuck to the actual car and the tape will just come off right away. A lot of people, like I said, put foil, so it's easier, so you don't have to keep taping like crazy, and that works out well as well. Just make sure you cover every corner. There's no see-through from any of the car. Okay, I'm gonna continue just fiberglassing, and then I'll just cut you guys in on the next once I'm done with the next little batch. Alright boys, so this is round 2. I did a little bit of a smaller batch than last time, so that way it doesn't dry out on me real quick. Pretty much, I would say 75% coverage. I still have to do the top and then the inside part right there. But yeah, it's laying out perfect. That's why I said use cloth first, so you get your base pretty much nicely hardened. That way, you know, because the tape under, it's very soft and it kind of pushes in and stuff, but once you put your first layer and let it dry, it actually hardens, and then it makes the background, or whatever, the wall, much easier to work with. You're not basically working on tape, you're working on a little bit of fiberglass and resin. So the more layers you start laying, the easier it gets to be laid. Just make sure you saturate your cloth very well, just like it is right here. And then yeah, you should be good to go. Just continue doing the same thing all the way around until you get about 2 or 3 layers of fiberglass. Then you should be thick enough to pull off the mold out of the car. So yeah. Alright boys, there you have it. This is about 1.5 layers of cloth on there right now. I'm still working on it. I still need to finish up the roof a little bit over there in this little corner, and then after that, just gonna start doing the second layer, which is probably going to be with the matte instead of cloth. So I'll be using the fiberglass matte
yeah, looks good. So far everything is good. It's hardening perfectly fine. It's just really hot outside, so I have to make very small batches and just keep going at it and at it. And you can't really, you have to wait until it dries after every coat. You have to wait till it dries, which takes about 20 minutes or so, and then start doing it again. Again, this all depends on the weather that you're in. The more humidity, the less it'll dry, the slower it will dry. Your material, you'll be able to work with it much longer than I would be able to. But in Vegas here, I have like 5% humidity and like 100 degrees of sun, so it's not helping me very much. But it's going slowly but surely. Once this is done, do not remove it from the car. Whatever you do, don't remove it from the car, because if you remove it after, let's say, the first or second layer, it will shrink down. As this dries, it'll warp. And since, well, depending on your car, I mean, the more curves you have in your car, the better, because the curves is what makes it very strong. A lot of people actually make intentional curves when they lay the fiberglass mat or cloth or whatever, just to make it stronger and stuff. But since I'm using mat and cloth, it should be very strong regardless. I already have, like I said, one box made, and that box has been through like hell and has never cracked or anything like that, so it's very, very strong. Although the other one that I did was like this thick of MDF on the front, and I'm not doing this in this one. This is going to be only two slabs of MDF, which should be about this thick on the outside here where the subwoofer is going to sit on. So again, don't remove the mold from the car unless you're done fiberglassing. I would say maybe after the 4th layer you're okay to remove it from the car, because it'll be hard enough to hold its mold. But if you're like on the 1st layer and it's already hard and you're like, oh, it's already hard, just pull it off. No, don't pull it off. It will deform and it will not fit in your car as is right now. Because like I said, it'll deform once it dries. So leave it in the car, let it dry out about 3-4 layers, then pull it off of the car if you really wanted to, and then work on it outside the car so your car doesn't stick anymore, which is what I'm actually planning to do as well. I'm gonna lay out about 2 layers of what do you call it, the mat, which is gonna happen tomorrow, and then after that I'm gonna do another layer of cloth, and then I'll pull it out of the car, because I want my finishing layer to be with cloth. Alright everyone, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I'm going to end it here because it's getting a little bit too long, and I'm just going to part it up in different parts. This is going to be part 1 obviously, and then after that's going to be part 2 and possibly part 3 depending on how much footage I have. I try to explain everything as much detail as possible so it's easy for you guys to understand. So hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you have any questions, drop them down below in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer all your questions. Also, just make sure you smash that thumbs up button, make sure you subscribe, make sure you turn on your notifications, and I'm also going to leave a link below in the description of the next video, and also I'll probably put it right there in the bottom of the screen as well, so you guys can click on that and see the part 2 of this build. I haven't filmed part 3 yet, but part 2 is already filmed, so you should be expecting another video within 3 to 4 business days within 3 to 4 days from this video. Other than that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Don't forget, what's behind you doesn't matter, and make sure you guys go in the link below in the description and check out the merch that we have for all cars. See you in the next one.